Thank you so much, Sukrit, for being here with us today. So we can start with the questions. And the first one is, what has drawn you to the topic of water? And do you live near water, or what is your connection with it?
So I live in Calcutta, which is on the eastern side of India. There is a lot of water around where I live. So we have a very interesting, combination of the different types of urban waters. To talk about maritime history, like our city, it's famous because the British actually sailed down into our city and created what we know about the city today. And of course, the river has been one of my most favorite spots to hang out in the city. So definitely there has always been an interest towards water bodies. But I think having to learn or having to work around water was just luck. So I just happened to find myself one day in front of my organization today, which is the Living Waters Museum. And they were doing really cool stuff. So I was like, wait, I do this too. Can I join? Here am I today after like maybe 8 years of working with the organization.
You're a member of the Water Museum Network and as such involved in Aquamuse. Why is this work so important to promoting water knowledge, in your opinion?
There is a lot of information that is out there which is only accessible to the academic elite. The people who are actually exposed to the different issues are often not getting the idea or the research work that these academicians are doing. There is a need to democratize this knowledge. It aligned very well with the principles of our museum. Her entire idea was to really reach out to the masses with the information around water. One of the bigger projects that we are doing today is the Aquamuse project, which really looks at, democratic methods of really giving out information, in our case particularly floods, and we are working in two deltas in Africa and one delta in the Sundarbans, which is where I come from. And I am looking at music. During my research, I found out that there is a lot of music that exists in different parts of the world which talk about floods. Some cases they talk about the misery. Some cases they talk about hope. I'm trying to look at the entire sociological part of it, and what a beautiful way to document this entire story. So I think Aquamuse is all about that.
Sukrit, you're an heritage and disaster management professional during the day and a musician by night. How do these functions relate to one another?
My interest does not lie in the buildings and the building materials. They are nice, but it's not my calling. My calling is really with the people inside it.
Yeah.
Since I was also a musician, I've been practicing music for over 25 years now. There is a lot of alignment that is happening with what the musicians are saying, whereas what the academicians are saying. And I was getting both the angles because I was actually exposed to both the fields. Artists are often not taken seriously. You have someone with a PhD talking about it, but there is an artist also talking about the same thing. The person with the PhD will have more validation than the artist. But then, when I look at music, topics like climate change has been documented by this community even before scientists have spoken about it. So does that make them less of a scientist? I feel there are a lot of these false dichotomies that exist that separate the two. So I think that's been my journey, and I'm really trying to look at how to kind of reduce this gap that exists between academicians and artists. Both the people are saying the same thing. So what are the more ethical ways to actually make the academic field more inclusive for artists as well?
How can music be used to communicate ideas in science?
One of the first experiences that really moved me was an idea of filling up a bottle. And the entire idea of me just looking at the bottle and hearing the sound of water change while the level of the water rises was what really intrigued me. I feel when I teach this experience to my students back in India, it's the experience that they never forget. Your entire idea or sensitivity towards sounds changes. And that's when I really started hearing different aspects of water. And for example, this is an instrument. It's actually a water carrying utensil back in India. These guys have already been sustainable way before people have been talking about sustainability. For example, this is a water carrying utensil in the morning, and once your water carrying job is done, you will just use it as an instrument. So the entire idea of reusing a certain thing is also sustainability. We would only work as mediators. We have to come, explore this fact, give this information in the most democratic way possible, and go out. Artists, whatever I'm producing out here, is also science. Solid produces a different sound, liquid produces a different sound, and gas produces a different sound. It's chemistry and physics coming together. And hence I feel science is arts, just the medium of expression is different. Initially, I was going and doing workshops and classes with the students, but now I do performances. So they actually, study the entire thing through a skit, through music, through performances. And I feel the children really engage way more.
Yeah.
So they engage way more and they actually take back information. So the entire idea is how do we look at artists beyond just entertainers? I think with At Home News also we are doing that, and we have an entire classroom project which we are trying to develop. So we need to find crossroads of where can we bring in both, but again destroy that gap that they have.
How can music influence people to change the way they see water and its significance to their lives?
If we look back in the days, there has been people would actually have oratory forms of talking to people. I feel that we need to find ways to get back to these formats because let's face it, how many people actually read the journals where we post all our papers on? So there needs to be more support in this sector so that more artists could also feel as a part of a community which they have often made to feel they are not a part of just because they were not the more excellent students in school or college.
These were my questions. Thank you very much for being here at IHE with us.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to your performance today.
Perfect.